We are now going to bring in Alveda King, Fox News contributor and niece of Dr. Martin Luther King, on this Sunday. Alveda, welcome to the show, as always. As we remember John Lewis, we would love to hear your Sunday message today.
Interestingly enough, and good morning, everyone. Let me say that first. The first song that came to my mind today was not a church song. Today is Sunday, and we worship the Lord in spirit and in truth, hopefully all week, not just on Sunday. However, there was a song called For the Good Times, and the singer was having a hard time in a relationship at the time, but the singer began to sing about for the good times. So that was amazing. I'm thinking, when I think about John Lewis, right in the midst of COVID-19, race wars, and so much dissension, another warrior died on the same day that Congressman Lewis died. C.T. Vivian. He'll be less remembered, but he did some noble work as well. When I think about Selma Bridge, the Edmund Pettus Bridge, and if they rename it to Congressman John Lewis, that's a discussion as well. John was hurt on that bridge, and yet he kept his tenacity, his faithfulness, his loyalty, his desire to serve people. And that is the John Lewis that I remember. Always a forgiving kind of person. And I think that because he was able to keep his focus for so many years, serving in the United States Congress for 3 decades, we will remember John in that manner.
Alveda, let me ask you, you mentioned the discussion about the renaming of the Edmund Pettus Bridge. For those that don't know, he was a segregationist. In this environment we're in today, it would certainly be perhaps a quickly renamed bridge, but yet because of Lewis's sacrifice and the significance of his actions there, do you believe that it should be renamed after Lewis, or should, for the historical significance, remain the Edmund Pettus Bridge?
That's a difficult question for me. For example, my dad, Reverend Alfred Daniel Williams King, who was killed in 1969, kind of like the Kennedy brothers. My Uncle Martin was killed in 68, and then my dad was killed in 69. He was on that bridge that day, and he was beaten as well. Hosea Williams, James Orange, many were. And so the same thing, if you look at Congressman Lewis, a giant of a person with such a heart for serving. And so C.T. Vivian dies at the same day. So do you name that John Lewis Day, or do you name it C.T. Vivian Day, or whatever? So when we begin to give tribute to human beings, it's important to do that, giving honor where honor is due. However, with all of the renaming of streets and bridges and tearing down statues and all of that, I'm reminded, my uncle Martin Luther King Jr. said, the day should come when there won't be black power or white power, only God power and human power. Human power comes from the soul. That's soul power, soul force. And yet it should be covered by the love of God. And so I know I gave you a roundabout answer, but I just don't know, because we must remember Congressman John Lewis, a very genuine person who did his best to support what he believed. Now, he was with social justice, social gospel, the gospel of Jesus Christ. Me as a Christian evangelist, that's a little different. One blood, one race, one human race. I get that. And we know that racism is socially engineered. However, if we're thinking about all of these things and cover all of this in prayer, we have to remember, I'm remembering Congressman John Lewis, his nobility, his courage, his consistency, a very genuine consistency to want to love, to forgive. He was a peacemaker. And to me, he was a warrior for peace.
Alveda, real quickly, just what's the one thing that you will remember John Lewis about? What's the one thing you want the kids of this country, when they say John Lewis, you want them to remember what?
I remember John Lewis, the peacemaker. And anytime anybody wanted to bring him into controversy, I would always say, that's not the John Lewis I know. And so the John Lewis I remember, a peacemaker, a very consistent servant, a very humble man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alveda,
All right,
for joining
thanks.
us as always, and we can't wait to talk to you again soon. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you.